Here is all the delicious food I ate from 9 different restaurants in Cusco, Peru. So I stayed in Cusco, Peru for a total of 1 month, giving me plenty of opportunities to try delicious foods. So I think I have a pretty good opinion on all of these restaurants and which foods are better from my own personal experience. I also stayed in the neighborhood of San Blas, which is beautiful. It's a little bit touristy, but a great vibe, and most of these restaurants, coincidentally, were located in that San Blas neighborhood. So I definitely recommend you stay there to be close to all of the eating spots, such as number 1, which is going to be Naturale. So Naturale was actually the first restaurant we ever went to in Cusco, and it is located in the San Blas Plaza, so it's a great location. And the food here is based primarily on Italian food, and there's some Peruvian options you can get in there as well. So we ordered the pesto pasta, which was really delicious. I love pasta, I love pesto.